Our main event from Fernwood Resort in the Poconos. Azille and Kelvin Davis. There's Louis Azille, 32 years old, originally from Dominica. Now he lives in Jersey City. He only has that one stumble against cruiserweight titleist Wayne Braithwaite on his record. He comes into tonight's fight 18-1-2, 15 shorts. And his opponent. Here's Reno's Kelvin Davis. Started his career as a smallish heavyweight, now 25 years old, 2 years into his life as a fringe contending 190-pounder. Davis 19-2-1, 14 knockouts. And this, a big chance for him. The IBF saying the winner of this fight will be the #1 mandatory challenger for James Toney. Gary Rosado's your referee, scheduled for 12.
I'm going to tell you two things right now. Protect yourselves at all times, and most importantly, obey my commands at all times. Any questions here? Questions here? Touch glove, let's bang at the bell. Let's do it.
Scott Ledoux, Kelvin Davis. A short cruiserweight, 5'8", stocky, power-packed. Gave up 6 inches in height, 10 inches in reach to Arthur Williams, won that fight. Louis Azille, not a big cruiserweight at just 5'10". He says the first time in his career that he has a height advantage.
Well, I'll tell you what, smallness doesn't mean much when you think about what just happened just recently with our guy James Toney. Size didn't mean a thing. He came out and did his job. Not the size of the man in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the man. There's that jab. He's got to get going off that thing. He's got to move off that jab. He's got to throw punches. He can't let this guy snap that jab out there all night long. The one thing that he doesn't do is throw jabs back. Azille has a nice jab, little short hook there. He's got to counter every time that guy throws that jab. He's got to do something. He can't just stand in front or he'll steal that fight with the jab.
Azille notched 9 of his 15 KOs in the first round. Hasn't been active this year. 10-month layoff. Last fought last December. Said he isn't worried about it. Stayed in the gym the whole time. Got in some good sparring. Had some fights that fell through. Thus the inactivity. You know, you talk about the jabs from Kelvin Davis. He did throw some in the opening minute, but not used to seeing that. Last time we saw him, he threw just 4 jabs per round, landing just 1, according to CompuBox. The cruiserweight average is to throw 24 jabs per round.
You know, right now he's using that jab pretty stiff out there. He's using it pretty stiff. Kelvin Davis got to fire back with some heavy shots, make that jab go away. You can't let that jab do. There's came back with a nice left hook. That's the things he's got to do. He's got to go downstairs, try and take those legs away. Eventually the legs will go. You go downstairs, work that body. Those guys with those rippled stomachs, I'll tell you something, you can hurt them down there. Kelvin Davis has got to let that jab go himself. You can't be that Mike Tyson all the time, not throwing a jab. Mike Tyson actually had a great left jab. Mike Tyson could really jab well, just didn't use it much.
It's funny to hear you talk about Mike Tyson in the past tense, but for many that's such the case so far, as we see a cut that's opened up now on Kelvin Davis underneath the right eye.
He's not getting out of the way of anything right now. You can't let this guy continue to tattoo him with the jab. You got to counter, throw a right hand over that jab, or, you know, match him with that jab.
Good combination from Azille. We sold it as a matchup of power-punching cruiserweights, both hungry, with the potential of a slugfest. We saw touches in the first round. Azille had a nice combination, but at the end of round #1, it was Kelvin Davis coming up big, Scott.
Kelvin Davis has got that punch. He's got to get a little more active if he's going to stay in this fight, because I'll tell you something, that one punch may have helped him get back in the fight, but he's not going to be able to do this all night long.
right, here's a look at the end of the first round, Scotty.
You watch Azille and you get caught here. Kelvin Davis, left hook right on the money. He is a very strong puncher, and there's no question about it. Kelvin Davis can hit, and Kelvin Davis catches him with that left hook. Azille was not hurt real bad after that shot, but he had outscored him. He lost that round because of it.
Well, the natural mechanics of coming around with that right hand loaded up that left hook, and he connected when he came back with it. Kelvin Davis scoring the big punch and the knockdown of that first round. A round in which Louis Azille outlanded him 25-13, but among those 13, the big left hand from Kelvin Davis.
Kelvin Davis has got to get inside and outwork this guy inside. He can't let him get inside and not do anything. He's got to outwork him because that's where his game is. And if he outworks him, he can overcome those jabs. But if he lets that guy jab all night and doesn't outwork him inside, he's going to be in trouble. Azille's got to get back and use that jab because that jab's going to win that fight for him. He's going to keep it out there in front of him. He can't get in a trading match like he just was inside. He's got to stay right there in the middle of the ring and use that stiff jab. One of the things both fighters got to do, if they get the guy in trouble, they got to finish him. Because both of them have the capability to knock the other one out. I'll tell you something, he had the guy hurt there at that last of the first round there, but he ran out of time. He wasn't able to come back and finish him off. Got to give some confidence now to Kelvin Davis, knowing he can hurt this guy.
Davis got off to a very strong start in his last fight against O'Neal Bell. Dropped Bell in the second round, but Bell was able to control the action in the middle round, staggered Kelvin Davis in the sixth round, and then won it by TKO, scoring a knockdown in the 11th round.
Kelvin Davis came out in this round using his left hand as a jab, and I was surprised, and now he's gone back to the hook. But he's got to get that jab going, because that jab was working for him.
Right uppercuts and left hooks, the signature for Kelvin Davis.
These two are guys that are compact, mean punchers. They could hold this fight in the phone booth. Neither one of them would care.
Boy, and both guys are built.
They are put together, aren't they?
In fact, Louis Azille, the first sport he fell in love with was bodybuilding. But he grew up in the poverty of Dominica in the Caribbean, had no equipment to lift weights with, so he bench pressed parts from abandoned cars and used to pick up milk cans filled with concrete and use them as dumbbells. You think that toughens you up a bit?
A little bit, I'd say. Not the same workout we had today.
Inside work from Azille, and another left hand from Kelvin Davis.
He rocked him with that hook, too. That right hand of Azille's got to stay up. He drops his right hand when he gets inside. You can't do that against this guy. I'll tell you, Kelvin Davis really hits with that, turns on that left hook.
Boy, does he. He's trying to load up on it, Scott.
But he doesn't come back with the right hand. If he come back with that right hand, the guy's right there. He's got to load up, hit with that hook and come back with the right hand.
No, it's just the opposite. Is what you're saying. You're absolutely right. He comes with the right hand, then the left, but doesn't bring back the right.
Exactly.
I've made a lot of news on the baseball diamond, but if you want to find out about this diamond, you got to go talk to your doctor.
Ready to try Viagra for the first time? See your doctor and find out if a free sample's right for you.
My doctor says it's right for me. That's why I stay with it. For more information, go to Viagra.com.
Need cash fast? Just pick up the phone now for up to $500. Qualify in 2 minutes or less. National Money Service can help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You're welcome. The money you need will be in your account tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Let us help you with unplanned car repair bills, medical bills, household repairs, or anything else you need money for. So if you need up to $500 before your next paycheck, we can help.
Call now.
Call National Money Service now.
Friday night fights, our main event. Good clash of power-punching cruiserweights from Bushkill, Pennsylvania. Kelvin Davis, Louis Azille. the punches in round 2. Azille a 23-19 edge. He also had an edge in round 1, but he hit the canvas in the final 5 seconds of that round after a big left hook from Kelvin Davis. 20-17 on Scott Ledoux's scorecard.
Kelvin Davis doing a nice job coming out with that left jab in the beginning of this round, just like the last round, but now he's not using that jab again. He's got to use that jab, keep this guy off. And you can't get careless in here, because I'll tell you something, this guy can take him out. Azille has the punching power, can whack him out of it. So he's got to be, you know, a little bit cautious, doesn't get careless. There's that jab. Use the jab lands. Notice Azille has not been jabbing as much as he did in that very first round. The first round he controlled the round up until he got tagged with that left jab.
Power has a way of slowing everything down, doesn't it?
Oh boy. Makes you real cautious too. You guys exchange lead right hands there. Kelvin Davis, constant right in front of him. Very determined young man. Azille does a nice job of crouching, getting inside, watch his target. You can see he's very fierce, very serious about his game.
This round now being fought at range a little more. Not as much on the inside as we saw in the second round.
They're just pitching and catching in here right now.
Both men have thrown over 20 jabs in the first 2 minutes of this third round, so change that trend a bit.
Cut on the right eye, it looks like. For Kelvin Davis.
Well, we told you earlier that a #1 position in one of the organizations is up for grabs. Will become a mandatory for cruiserweight champion James Toney. Dan Goosen, the promoter of James Toney, doesn't like the idea of that. He says that they want the best 2 guys, and they do not feel that Kelvin Davis and Louis Azille represent that. They feel the winner of this fight should face off against Vasily Girov. Third round. Now, Demetrius Hopkins won earlier tonight on Friday Night Fights. He is trained and managed by the legendary Hall of Famer Lou Duva. Showed you that great feature on Freddie Roach, and we asked Lou what he thought of the future Hall of Famer Freddie Roach.
I think the difference between Freddie and I is when Freddie talks, just the fighter is listening, and he's listening to him, and he's listening to him. When I'm in there in the ring and I holler, the guy in the 15th row is turning to his wife over there and saying, "What do I do next? What do I do next?" So it's that kind of a thing, you know. He's a good teacher. I mean, if I was fighting today, he's the kind of guy I would like to have in my corner, because I know that I'm going to get the right instructions.
Lou Duva, a lot of respect for Freddie Roach. Great piece, our 2-part series on Freddie Roach. Scott Ledoux, the induced Parkinson's. Do you believe in that term? Do you believe that the boxing and head trauma situation can bring about that horrible disease?
10 years ago, I went to a convention down in Nevada, and it was they talked about that, and there was a neurologist there saying that they felt that there was a correlation to that. Whether or not it is or not, I don't know. If they've got some proof for it, I think that'd be great. If there is, I think it's going to be a bit scary for all of us. But, you know, football players, boxers, anyone who has head trauma, they're all in for it.
Round number 4, Kelvin Davis, Louis Azille. The total punches, 72-51 edge for Azille. In that last round, he stayed on the outside a little more, threw a high total of 43 jabs so far in this fight. Outlanding Davis 24-19 in that third round. Highlight of the fight thus far, the big left hook at the end of the first round, scoring a knockdown for Kelvin Davis. left hand lead jab from Davis, doubles it up. Back to it. Much more work with that lead left hand out of Kelvin Davis than we have seen him in past fights.
We did not expect that left jab. Did not expect that left jab. Much better job right now. Luis Azille is usually controlling this part of this fight right now. How do you set the tempo a little bit with his left jab? Kelvin Davis seems to be a little bit tired here, a little weary. He's got to pick it up a little bit.
Well, at any moment, we know he's capable of doing it. Both these guys can flat out throw and bring it.
And like to. And like to bring it. This is a wonderful fight to watch. Two guys, very skilled fighters, two bangers.
Two guys with a lot on the line.
A lot on the line, a lot of heart. A lot of heart.
See that cut around the right eye of Kelvin Davis. We're going to monitor that situation as this fight progresses.
Azille having a better round, isn't he?
Kelvin Davis is trying to prove that he can win Luis Azille's type fight.
Yeah, he's throwing more jab than we've ever heard him throw.
Did we make a beer with half the carbs of Bud Light taste good? No. We made it taste great. Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling.
Debt obligations for the purposes of raising funds for our schools and...
Saturday on ABC, Purdue battles Michigan in the BCS Spotlight Game of the Week, presented by ADT.
Have you ever wanted to develop your artistic abilities? If so, you may already have the interest and desire needed to become a serious art student. To find out, simply call toll-free, and Art Instruction Schools will send you this enjoyable art test. Since 1914, we've helped thousands of aspiring artists become more skilled, more confident, and more creative in their art. Call today for your free art test. We'll help you become a better artist. Call 1-800-344-8300.
Luis the Lion Azille, just one loss.
Come on.
As a pro fighter, that was against 190-pound titleist Wayne Braithwaite. Says that fight is in the past. I don't want to talk about it. I should have never fought him. Azille was injured going into that fight. He was knocked out against Braithwaite. See the jabs through round 4, 59-29 edge for Azille. Actually, better numbers from Davis compared to his fight against O'Neal Bell, where he only landed 1 per round. 39-36 on Scott Ledoux's scorecard for Kelvin Davis. Round number 5 is scheduled for 12.
These are two tough customers, aren't they? And you said that one of them had fought heavyweight. Wasn't it Davis had fought heavyweight before?
Yeah, Kelvin Davis started as a heavyweight early on in his career. His pro debut, he weighed 207 pounds. And then a couple years ago, he realized that the best move for his career is to come down to cruiserweight. But, you know, Scott, you talk about Kelvin Davis as a heavyweight and weighing 207 pounds. For many fights, he weighed right at 200, 201, 202. And we've seen a recent move where one of the organizations moved the cruiserweight limit up to 200 pounds. And you know, Scott, I am for that. I think the cruiserweight weight limit should be increased to 200 pounds universally across the board and recognized at 200 pounds. I think there's a lot of fighters that are in limbo, that are fighting as smallish heavyweights, trying to add weight to make money as a smallish heavyweight type opponent, when they really should be cruiserweights. It would be a much more competitive division if it was 200-pound weight limit.
I agree totally. If they, the guys like the guys who weigh 210, you know, if they can come down to 201 and
You're
fight.
Andre Perletz. You're
Perletz.
Jeremy Williams.
Yep. Exactly. They have to. They don't have to watch what they eat because they can't even keep their weight up to 215. If they could cut them down to 201, they'd have a chance to go both fight as a heavyweight and as cruiserweight and get some money.
And you would have a much more competitive cruiserweight division. Both men back to the lead left hand.
Both guys trading left hooks there.
Azille trying to target a left hand, but Davis lands a body shot and comes back with a right.
Nice solid right hand. And to tell you, Luis Azille just doesn't even blink. Both these guys, tough guys. Both can take good punches. Davis has got to keep that jab going, keep coming forward. Of course, he doesn't know anything else but forward. I don't think there's an R anywhere in the shifter.
It doesn't exist.
Get ready for the DVD event of the year. Let's head and unleash the beast. Unleash the excitement. Unleash the power that's too big for one DVD. My God. The Hulk 2-disc special edition. Unleash the groundbreaking special effects secrets. And go behind the scenes for a revealing look at the amazing technology that brought the Hulk to life. Just push play, and you'll be blown away. Hulk. Buy it on DVD and video Tuesday.
You know, ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? If so, Invention Submission Corporation has information to help you get started. ISC is America's largest inventor service firm. Call now and learn how to submit your idea to companies through ISC's databank and apply for a patent. Even if your idea is just to improve an existing product, call for ISC's free information.
For your inventor's information, call 1-800-652-0101.
That was a good fifth round between Kelvin Davis and Luis Azille, both men landing 18 punches. Some solid work at the right hand from Kelvin Davis. Joe Tessitore and Scott Ledoux with you. Friday Night Fights from the Poconos, Fernwood Resort. Kelvin Davis, Luis Azille, a title shot eliminator. The winner would be on course to be a mandatory challenger for James Toney.
Luis Azille coming on more jabs in this particular round, using more jabs, and that's the thing that's going to win this fight for him. He's got to get his jab going, because Kelvin doesn't like to jab that much, but he's jabbed more tonight than we've ever seen him.
You get the sense at some point he's going to go back to that left hook, and it is going to be there for him, Scott.
Oh, yeah. Luis has a tendency to drop that right hand. And when you do that, you're going to get caught with that left hook. And if you could get Kelvin to throw a little jab and then a left hook behind it, you might have something there. They're just trading jabs. Work in here by both men, working hard. Kelvin Davis really trying to stick it to him, keep coming, fighting a fight that we haven't expected out of him, using that left jab. Luis Azille doing a nice job coming back with his jab. These two guys fight right in the middle of the ring. I mean, I love to watch this. It's not like they run and move or go to the ropes. They fight right in the middle of the ring. There's that left hook. Came down and swung on top of that left hook, but no right hand behind it. Got to follow up with that right hand. These two guys are both in very good condition. Sixth round, both guys working hard. Not showing any ill effects of the fight so far. Not showing any weariness. Both sharp punches. I'm very impressed with Kelvin Davis doing the jab today. We didn't expect that out of him. We expected the jab to come from Luis Azille.
Kelvin Davis, 44 out of 222 thrown. It's the 222 that grabs you.
A lot of punches being thrown here. For big guys.
Right hand comes in from Luis Azille.
Very good.
All right, we are are just about halfway through this interesting cruiserweight clash. Let's check back in with Brian Kenny and Max Kellerman. Guys?
Hey, great action in this
these
fight.
guys weren't playing games.
No, you're absolutely right. One of the great action fighters right now, great young action fighters, Ricky Hatton, just signed on December 13th to fight in Manchester, England against Ben Tacky. Take a look at the tail of the tape presented by Miller Lite. Max, look at that. Tacky is 30 years old. Let me just read to the last couple opponents. Charmaine Mitchell, Kostya Tszyu, losses. Teddy Reed, Ray Oliveira, John Molina, Freddie Pendleton, Roberto Garcia, Golden Johnson, Goyo Vargas, and Hiklet Lau. That's in a row.
Just call him Kostya Tszyu, please.
Okay.
Really.
What do you think of the matchup?
Well, what Hatton's doing now is, Charmaine Mitchell is getting all this credit for beating Tacky and for beating Vince Phillips convincingly. Hatton just beat Phillips at least as convincingly as Mitchell did. If he does the same to Tacky, he has a good case. Look, Charmaine's ranked number 1, number 2. Why shouldn't I be ranked right there?
Again, that'll be December 13th. Again, a top junior welterweight bout. Guys, let's send it back to you.
Tale of the Tape is brought to you by Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time.
Ricky Hatton, Ring Magazine's 7th-ranked junior welterweight. And he's taking on Ben Tacky. Good 140-pound matchup there. Good 190-pound matchup in front of us. Round number 7. Louis Azille, Kelvin Davis. Total jabs, 89-45 edge for Louis Azille.
But I'm impressed with the fact that Kelvin Davis is even throwing the jabs. Didn't expect that out of him. These guys are picking it up now. They're picking up the pace. Can you see that? Just all of a sudden this fight's picked it up a little bit. Each corner has been going on and saying, hey, get it going. Pick it up a little bit. A little more speed, a little more momentum. Neither one of the guys have been working the body a great deal. And that's what I'd like to see more of. 12-round fight, you want to work that body. Slow those feet down. Get the hands down, too. That doesn't hurt a thing. Very nice move on that part of Kelvin Davis. Just now throwing a stiff jab to the chest. Very difficult when a guy stiffs in there. Louis Azille dropping that lead left hand. And that right hand from Kelvin Davis just dropped right in there. Got to come back with that hook now from that. 1-2 and then a hook behind it.
Good work with the left hand from Louis Azille. If for nothing else, Scott, just making it tough for Davis to get on the inside, and now the right hand scores well from Azille.
Very solid right hand. But the thing that little jab does, it keeps you in the game and keeps him out of the game. That little jab just bumps you off balance, gets you off stride. And that's the one thing that Louis Azille does a nice job, little pop jab, but he doesn't use as much as he should. He should be using that jab constantly because this guy does not know how to defend against a jab. Just keeps taking it, just keeps eating them. Why not just jab, jab, jab? That's all you got to do with this guy. Every time he throws a jab, Kelvin Davis freezes up. He doesn't counter a lot with it. If he does, he counters with a left hook. He'll keep that right hand close to his side.
Less movement out of Kelvin Davis than we've seen previous.
Side to side, you mean?
Yep.
He's freezing up a little bit here, catching the jab. Louis Azille's got to pick up the pace with that jab, and that's going to take it right to Kelvin Davis. As long as he's using that jab, he's going to be there.
The bow. Resistance becomes strength. Becomes power. The power to change and reshape your entire body. This is Bowflex, an entire gem-in-one easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 health club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance in any room in your home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. One simple workout. 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Bowflex is real.
The results are real. And you can own one with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Call right now for a free video and brochure. Bowflex, the power is yours.
There's Kelvin Davis readying himself for round number 8 against Louis Azille. A very big fight for both men. For Kelvin Davis, the chance at a title shot. Wants to bring a title fight to his hometown of Reno, Nevada. And his management and everyone back there in Reno wants to see that happen with an impressive win tonight. 52 jabs in that 7th round. That's the high total for Louis Azille so far in this fight, Scott Ledoux. He's doubled them up on the jabs total, 104 to 52 through 7 rounds.
He's got to get those jabs going. Got to pick them up, pick up the pace, as far as I'm concerned, with that left jab, because that's going to stop this guy in his tracks. But right now, he's not using that jab like he should be. Kelvin Davis has been landing some real good left hooks here to the body early on in this round. Left hooks on your arms. Very strong puncher. He hits you on the bicep a few times, and that right hand's going to be a tough time getting out of there. Kelvin Davis going to get that left jab going of his own. Keep it out in front. Louis Azille, he's got to get counter and keep that jab going. Both guys doing a good job keeping the fight in the middle of the ring. This round, they've both thrown a few more combinations than we've seen in the past. It's been 1 or 2 punches. Now they've actually thrown 3 or 4 in an opportunity. That's what it's going to take here to turn the tide. One guy's going to have to let some hands go. Go for broke a little bit. Throw more than 1 or 2 punches at a time. Throw 3, 4, 5 punches. It's like throwing something at the wall. Sooner or later, something will stick. Louis Azille, very good, very conscientious of that left jab. Using his jab a little bit sparingly right now. You've got to let that hand go. The only way you're going to keep Kelvin Davis off you, you don't throw that left jab, he's just going to walk in and start banging.
There's a left hand from Davis. And Azille fires right back.
Azille fired real good back. Fight picking up the pace right now. This is where it's got to go. This is championship rounds coming up. And a very good round for both fighters. They've done a good job.
25-year-old Kelvin Concrete Davis. Joe Tessitore and Scott Ledoux with you. Our main event here, we're talking about the cruiserweight division. This is 12-round title eliminator. The winner supposedly would be a mandatory for James Toney. But let's take a look at Ring Magazine's cruiserweight rankings, Scott, where James Toney sits atop, guys like Vasily Girov. Neither one of these names in the Ring Magazine rankings. How realistic is it that James Toney would actually fight the winner of this fight in the end?
I think it'd be pretty far-fetched because right now he's got Girov out there to fight. Mike Tyson's in the making. I mean, he's got so many other guys. Roy Jones. I mean, there are so many great fights out there for James Toney. I can't understand why he would take one of these guys because it's, first of all, it's a risk. These guys can both punch, but you know he's got the money fights out there with those 3 names.
Very big money
Any one
fights.
of those 3.
And we told you what Dan Goosen, the promoter of James Toney, said about this fight. He thinks the winner of this fight should be forced to fight Vasily Girov, and then the winner of that fight could take on James Toney for the cruiserweight title. But let's be realistic. Is James Toney going to fight as a cruiserweight when the money at heavyweight exists, and we just saw how good he looked at 217 pounds?
Yes, very tough.
Round number 9, right hand comes in from Louis Azille. Both men maybe picking up the pace a bit with their power shots over the course of the last 4 or 5 minutes.
little south of the border there.
But you know, here in the 9th round, one of the first visits we've seen from referee Gary Rosado so far tonight. Both guys very professional, no clinching, no hugging, just busy work among these hungry cruiserweights.
These guys think it's a sin to tie up. They don't want to fight. They just want to fight and throw punches. They don't want to grab on.
Finally brought the right hand after a left hook shot, but it didn't meet its mark.
Well, he threw the right hand, then he froze right there, and Azille came back and popped him. You got to move out of the way or let your hands go. As I said earlier, you got to throw more than 1 or 2 punches at a time. You got to let some hands go here. Throw some combinations, see if you can land some punches. Right now, he's still very conservative.
Kelvin Davis likes appreciating his work. Takes a look at it. Back to the left hand.
Kelvin Davis, the concrete guy. Couple nice little jabs there. You got to get that right hand behind that jab. Throw a little light jab, slide in, fire that right hand. A left hook behind it, but not 1 or 2 punches all the time. Both guys very thrifty on punches. Neither guy throws a combinations of 4 or 5 punches, flurries. They just throw 1 or 2 punches, easily to take those shots, but not when you throw 4 or 5. Here's Azille taking control of this fight right now with that left hand. Hook was high on the forehead.
Didn't land flush at all.
Kelvin Davis is falling behind in this round, but he's being out-hustled. He's got to get those hands going. You can't let this guy out-hustle him.
Azille has done a good job in overcoming that first round knockout with steady work behind the jab.
Very steady.
Maybe next time.
SSX3, rated for everyone.
EA
Sports. Sometimes the best way to connect is to reconnect with the people you're closest to. In a setting of unspoiled beauty, a place where trees outnumber people and where people welcome visitors with open arms. A place where you can refresh your soul and regain perspective on what's really important. A place called Arkansas, the natural state. Call today for your free Arkansas Vacation Planning Kit.
If you watch the first round action here in the lower right corner, you watch where Azille gets caught with a left hook by Kelvin Davis here. This has been a big difference in this fight so far. That left hook knocking it out. This fight is very close right now. Very close.
The only 10-8 round on the scorecards that we've had in a fairly even fight between these cruiserweights who are aiming at a title shot against James Toney. The winner of this will be declared a #1 mandatory by one of the boxing organizations. The punches in round 9, 23-15 for Azille, landing 30%. There's a left hand. Scott Ledoux's scorecard all even. Very good, consistent work in the middle rounds from Louis Azille, able to overcome that knockdown in the first round.
These guys have both traded a couple bombs here. Kelvin Davis landed a nice left hook, and then Louis Azille came back with a nice right hand. It seems like they picked up the pace early on in this round. Throwing more punch. These are the championship rounds. These last 3 rounds are the championship rounds. This is what makes the champion. You don't want to leave anything in the tank. When this last bell ends, you don't have nothing left. You got to let those hands go. Let them bang. That's the only. You don't want to leave nothing left. Anything in the tank. Let these hands go. Try and bang this guy out of there.
Back to the left hand for Azille.
He's controlled a lot of this fight with that left hand. Very accurate. Kelvin Davis has done a nice job with his jab, but not to the level that Louis Azille has. The overhand right seemed to land there for Kelvin Davis. He's got to come back with a left hook, though. He only throws 1-2 punches at a time. You got to throw punches in bunches. You can't throw just punches where they can time you. Throws one little wide right hand to the body, stops, admires his work. Should be coming back with a left hook. Everybody in this building knows these last 3 rounds are going to turn the tide in this fight. Here's Azille controlling this fight with that left jab.
And Kelvin Davis fighting Azille's fight.
Exactly. Follow him. Follow him around. He's got to punch. Whenever this guy punches, he's got to punch with him. You can't sit and wait for that lucky left hook to land again.
Last 2 rounds will be coming your way, but first, let's check in again with Brian Kenny and Max Kellerman.
All right, Joe, just a little tidbit here for Roy Jones Jr., Antonio Tarver, scheduled for November 8th. At last check, they haven't signed for the fight as of yet. They're kind of fighting over who goes into the ring last and arguing over who the real champion is. At any rate, they expect to go to the commission, and they will have the final say on this whole thing, and they'll have this fight. Both fighters met with the media this week. Here's what they had to say.
It's not personal. I mean, it's personal for him. He want to be me. That's always personal for all of them. For me, what else I got to do right now? I ain't no heavyweight with big money except Tyson. But that didn't emerge until after I'd already kind of started getting into agreeing to take this fight because there was nothing else. So I got to do what I got to do now because that's all was there.
I don't blame the man for wanting to fight Tyson, a guy that hasn't been focused on boxing in some time now, 5-6 years. That's not the Mike Tyson we all know and love. That's not, he's only a shell of himself. So if he want to go for an easy payday, he got a great chance of beating Mike Tyson. But you can't say the same about Antonio Tarver. In this fight, Roy Jones Jr., for the first time in your career, the risk outweighs the reward. And you know what? Deep down in Roy Jones' heart, he knows that. He knows that.
Brian and Max, thank you very much. So Antonio Tarver and Roy Jones Jr. talking back and forth. Who will go into the ring first? Who will be announced last? We will find out November 8th. They sign those contracts. Championship rounds between Kelvin Davis and Louis Azille. Azille has outlanded Davis in each of the last 4 rounds, and the jabs continue to be the story. Kelvin Davis sticking to a new game plan and able to throw it, but Azille more effective with it, landing 145. And on Scott Ledoux's scorecard, with a stretch of 5 consecutive rounds won, Azille has pulled ahead 95-94.
He seems the fresher of the 2 right now. Kelvin Davis seemed a little weary in there. Louis Azille seemed to have a little pop in his punch still. Still a little fresh, really a little glint in his eye.
Scott, does it just come to the point where Kelvin Davis has to make a decision to do what he does best and get in there with those power punches?
He can't let this guy, when this guy throws, he's got to throw with him. If you're the power puncher, why would you let somebody else hit you? Punch with him, and you're going to prove that you're the power puncher.
And right as we say it, look at the consistent work, doubling up the left hand from Azille.
Yes. Kelvin Davis has got to throw. When this guy throws, you got to throw with him. You can't let this guy have free shots. You got to throw. You can't sit and wait for him to stop. Punch with him. Punch with the guy. When he's coming forward, bang him. Take him out of there. He's coming into you. That's an easier way to take the guy out. Louis Azille seems to be picking up speed and picking up strength and confidence. Kelvin Davis has got to let those hands go. Power's good only if you use it. You don't bomb with people, you don't hit them. You can't take them down or knock them down. Knock them out. And that's what he did in the first round. He let those hands go, and he hasn't let them go since. Not in a sense, he's got to let them go more in the combinations. He's got to get that sense of urgency in it. His corner has to know right now he's falling behind. He's got to pick this pace up.
Scott, it harkens back to something that we've seen through the years. Sometimes the worst thing that can happen is to score a first-round knockdown.
It is real difficult, and you psychologically you think, hey, I'm going to be okay. Psychologically, I'm going to move ahead. I got this guy down. I'm going to get this guy out of here. And all of a sudden, you get complacent. You have a little bit of a high. And all of a sudden, you have a low. And you got to get yourself, pump yourself back up. He's got to pump himself back up right now. Let those hands go. He lands a right hand. No left hook behind him.
All right, let's listen in as both corners ready themselves for the 12th and final round. Here's Kelly Davis's brother.
Save us on the trip, Doc. Look at this. Just check the people there, brother. Okay, go. I'll work around you. All right. Okay, I'll look around you. Good. Good job, brother. All right, thank you. How you doing, Kelvin? Come on, Kelvin. How you doing? 3 minutes hard, Kelvin.
The game plan. The game plan. Okay? The game plan. That's it, Leo. The game plan. That's your fight, Louis. It's a you. It's a you fight. Get to get out. Beat. Pow, pow, pow. All over. You like him out. Like him out.
A very confident corner for Louis Azille, and why not? 78 jabs thrown, 22 landed. That was a high for the fight. It came in the 11th round. Also the 96 total punches for Azille, a high in the fight. It came in the 11th round. So he has loads of momentum heading into this 12th round of what could be a very close fight on the scorecards. 12-rounder title eliminator, #1 mandatory challenger for James Toney, up for grabs. Scott Ledoux's scorecard, 105-103 for Louis Azille.
Azille's corner telling him you can knock him out, take him out of there. They don't want to wait for the judges' cards. They want to take him out of there, finish him off.
You can see the swelling on the right eye of Kelvin Davis. Boy, that left hand is just consistent, isn't it, Scott?
Well, you can't miss the guy. He doesn't duck, doesn't get out of the way of the left jab, and he doesn't do anything to make you stop doing it. If I was getting, the guy was throwing a jab like that, every time he throw a jab, I'd throw a right hand, left hook. Pretty quick, he don't want to throw that jab anymore. He's not discouraging him from throwing that jab.
Well, that combination could be very dangerous because we know what Kelvin Davis possesses with that left hand. We saw that power in the first round, and we know that at any point in this 12th round, he can do it again.
This is not a time to save anything. This time to empty the tank. Let your hands go. Try and get a knockout. You got to know you've been falling behind. You're the one in there eating punches. You know you're getting hit. First time he's throwing more than one punch at a time. Letting his hands go here. There's a good left hook, but he didn't come back with that right hand. Let those hands go. It's your last round. Finish it up. Throw everything you got at the wall and hope all of it sticks. Stand in there, let this guy punch free. You gotta punch with him. If you're the puncher, punch with him. Take him out of there. He's finally doing that. One thing I'll say tonight, we've had one, this official has done a great job. We haven't seen him all night long. These fighters have been in the middle of the ring all night, all 12 rounds.
Last 30 seconds. Davis still searching for that answer here in the 12th round. Azille steady with the left hand, keeping range, staying away, and just outworking Kelvin Davis.
Louis Azille knows he's got this fight in control, using that left hand.
Snapping that jab again.
Kelvin Davis got to throw that right hand, throw the left hook.
Kelvin Davis started strong. Louis Azille may have finished stronger. Get the official word when we come back.
If on one hand you have half the carbs of Bud Light, and on the other the gold medal winner of the World Beer Cup, then you have a Miller Lite in each hand. Lucky you. Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. Did we make a beer with 1/3 less carbs than Coors Light taste good? No. We made it taste great. Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school in an exciting instructional video. Baseball World's Defensive Drills video features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky and the same techniques that produced his back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Collegiate Baseball Magazine's editor calls it a masterpiece, the best drill video ever produced. This video is endorsed by top professionals like superstar Fred McGriff.
This is an instructional video that gets results.
The Defensive Drills video benefits players of all ages and ability levels and makes a great gift too, so call now.
ESPN2 Friday Night Fights presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great tasting low-carb Miller Lite. Great scenes here in the Poconos, Bushkill, Pennsylvania, and a good main event between Kelvin Davis and Louis Azille. Total punches, they were only one punch apart, but a 184-94 jab edge for Azille. Scott Ledoux's scorecard, clean sweep from the 6th round on, 115-112. Let's head up to the ring to Henry Haskell.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we have a split decision. First, Judge Julie Letterman scores it 116-111 Davis. Bernard Bruni scores it 114-113 Azille. And David Greer scores it 115-112 for the winner, Davis.
So Louis Azille has to be disappointed. Kelvin Davis with the first round knockout holds on to a slim split decision win. Next week we'll be in Providence. Gary Bolletto versus Goyo Vargas. Up next, the World Thoroughbred Championship Special.